What's going on, beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy. Thanks so much for taking a little bit of time today to hang out with me. I really appreciate it. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my Modern Horizons 3 experience. And I almost did not film this video because this was probably like the worst pool of Magic in my career, of like ever doing pre-releases, of like limited anything. This was probably like my worst pool ever. And I was like, I feel like I just don't want to talk about this. But then I was thinking and I was like, no, like it might be helpful to like talk about my experience with it, and like, I don't know, maybe if it helps one person, this is a valuable thing. So I've never claimed to be truly an expert about anything, but like Magic limited, it's just never really been like my forte. I did a lot of like drafting once upon a time, like when I was in college, and I did enjoy it. And pre-releases to me are always just about like, it's fun time, you open up fun cards. And I think like what made this experience so frustrating was, one, my pool was just not deep. Two, I did not open a lot of creatures. You're gonna see in like, I think it's green, I opened up 13 mono green cards and one of them was a creature. Yeah, that was the situation we were going off with. So it was just a frustrating experience. And I think the other thing that would have made it a little better was if I had opened up like a fetch land or opened up one of the Eldrazi's, not for me, but for Paul, because even if like I couldn't have benefited from the card, knowing that Paul got something from my pool, which would have been really exciting, because that's the big Eldrazi's are the thing that, I mean, basically like all my friends want, including Paul. So it would have been like exciting if I had done that. So yeah, this was just like a super rough go. And yeah, just the pool wasn't that great. And what I have done, and I've talked about doing this, but I don't know if I've done this in a while, is to kind of like flip y'all so you could see like what my deck was, what my thought process was, like kind of what I did. Also too, yeah, if you're like, Tracy, I'm surprised you didn't play with this card or anything, like I've mentioned, I am not a limited person. I thought about doing a video on it, but then I was like, I don't feel like I have this knowledge and I don't want to like talk about something that I just don't feel confident in. So this is just kind of like my thought process and where I was kind of coming from. So if you're like, why didn't you do this? Yeah, and we'll get to that when we talk about the pool. But anyways, I'm going to flip you guys and let's see what the deck and how it ended up turning out. Okay, I promise I'm going to make this look a lot prettier for y'all, but this is just kind of the general overview of the deck, and you're going to notice the weird curve. 1, a bunch of 2s, 0 3-drops, a bunch of 4-drops, 1 5-drop, 1 6-drop, and then 1 7-drop. So we're going to start at the low end because I just feel like that makes sense. Oh, and then I had 4 of these specialty lands, and then I'm not going to show you all the basics, but I can talk about the curve in a second. Okay, so let's talk about the 1 drop and this is one reason that I ended up deciding to splash for white. White is like the least prominent color. It's primarily black and red. Is Guide of Souls. This card is awesome. Definitely one of the MVPs of the deck. Whenever another creature ETBs under your control, you gain 1 life, which is great, and you also gain an energy counter, which there's a bunch of energy counters in this deck. It's also a 1/2, which is nice. And then whenever you attack, you can pay 3. And if you do, you put 2 muscle counters on a creature and then a flying counter on them. And it becomes an angel, which was so amazing. This card was just so cool. Every time I had it, it was just such an MVP, such a house. So that was the 1 drop. And then let's chit chat about the 2 drops, which is where like the bulk of the deck is. So we got 1 Dream Drinker Vampire. This card I played with, I think once. And it's a solid 2 drop. You know, it's got lifelink. It's a 2/1. You can adapt it. You can only do the adapt 1 time. But if you can put more of the muscle counters on it, and then whenever one of those counters on it gains menace until end of turn, which is really great. It's actually quite a bit of menace in this deck, which made this build, like that was like one of the saving graces. It was not enough saving graces to make this deck viable, but this was definitely a solid inclusion in the deck. And then, okay, so in my last round, I met like truly the bane of my opponent's existence was running 3 Accursed Marauders. He at one point was like, did you have 4 of that card? And I was like, no, I had 3. This card is really solid. It is non-token, so there is some stuff that you can't hit, but it's really great in like the early game. You can sacrifice itself. I like this card actually so much that I'm picking one up for my Mugus deck, which is how you know I like it. This is a really solid card. Really happy to have 3 of them. Again, it was a saving grace. It wasn't one, we tried. Okay, 2 of the Conduit Goblins, which was another reason to splash for the white. Great. 80 TBs, you get 2 of the energy counters, which is awesome. And then at the beginning of combat on your turn, you could pay 1 energy counter. And if you do, target creature gains +1/+0 and gains menace until, gains haste, which is awesome. I also just want to say this and this other card, these are really similar. It's called Smelted Charge Bug. Okay, I totally made a mistake on the games that I won. And I please do not want you to make the same mistakes that I did. And I feel, when I tell you guys like the amount of guilt I felt, and I still feel so guilty because I did not realize that this is how the card worked. And so basically what happened is I forgot which one of these I played. And then I was like, hey, can I, because I have multiple energy counters, I was like, can I do this multiple times? And my opponent's like, yeah, you can do that. And I was like, cool. Didn't think much of it. We did the thing. We played the games. I had like some of the best games with this deck. It was really explosive. Come to find out in my 3rd game, that is not how it worked. When I went up to my opponent, I apologized. I was like, I'm so sorry. And like, I just felt so bad. I honestly, like, hindsight, I should have given him my pack, which I definitely would have done. And I don't mean to say that to boast about myself, but that is like something that I would have done. I just felt so bad that I misread these cards. Please don't be like me. You can only do this once. Anyways, these cards though were really great. This card was also really great, the Smelted Charge Bug. It's got Menace itself, and then you get those 2 energy counters, and when this attacks, you can pay 1, and then you'll give another target attacking creature +1/+0 and Menace until end of turn, which is awesome. These with, like, together as well, too, were, like, a really, really cool little duo, so that was great. We had this one little removal, one of the removal things we had, which was Reiterating Bolt. It's a really classic little burn spell. You can replicate this for the 3 energy, which I did. I ended up doing this at one game to kill, I forgot what it was. Was it the demon or was it the angel? I can't remember. One of the big, like, flying 6/5, I think is what it was, or maybe it was a 5/6. But I ended up doing that with the replicate cost with the energy counters, which was cool. Otherwise, it's just a 3 mana burn spell for 2 mana. Stomp was a good card. I never did the flip side because I didn't play green. But then I had this card, deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. There were no planeswalkers that I ran into, so it was always creatures. Well, great little removal spell. I had a bunch of these, but I just didn't really have, I guess, the room to do it. I guess I probably could have run more of these if we're looking at it now, but Dog Umbra, I never did this to my creatures. I only ever did it to my opponent's creatures. It's just a pacifism-esque effect. We've seen a ton of cards like this before. The can't attack or block. It's a great card. And then we have the Solar Transformer, which this was really, really solid. Really solid for the adding the colorless to your pool. Doesn't intertap, you get 3 energy counters which is really awesome, and then you can pay 1 energy counter to add 1 of any color. Really, really exciting about that. Really excited. This card was really great in order for me to get my colors because we were 3 colors, a little sensitive at times. So, okay, let's move on to the 4-drops. Again, we had no 3 drops. The first one was Pyretic Rebirth. This is a cool card. You get to I had no artifacts I had the 1 artifact and this never went to the yard. So it was always a creature that I got back, and then I got to deal damage equal to its mana value. So, to creature or planeswalker, which was really cool. So I got to kill something and get something back. This card was a little bit of a letdown, a little bit of a disappointment for me. I thought that it was going to be way better than it was. And I think it was one of those things where, hindsight, I probably should have swapped one of these, possibly both of them out, because this card just wasn't as good as I think it looks. It's got Menace and it's a 3/2, which is like good, but when ATBs, you tutor for a card with mana value less than or equal to your devotion to black, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle, you lose 3 life. The 3 life was honestly really detrimental, and I feel like it didn't really end up doing as much as I wanted it to, which was a little disappointing. I had 2 of the Thriving Sky Claws. Simple 3/2 flying for 4 mana. ETBs, you get 3 of the energy counters, which is really awesome. And then when it attacks, you can pay those 3 energy counters to put a +1/+1 counter on it, or you could just save those energy counters for something else. This was solid. It was a good flyer. We had 1 of the Fell the Profane. What was the flip side of this? A land. I never ended up doing that. It was always going to be a destroying target creature. It's got that planeswalker on there, instant speed if you need it, but it was always the creature that I was doing. I had this card a couple of times, which was the Arcbound Condor. This is a cool card. I didn't do it for the second ability, which was whenever another artifact enters the battlefield. This didn't synergize with my one artifact ever, which was fine. Target creature opponent gets -1/-1 until turn, which is actually really cool. You could kill some stuff with that. But it's got flying and it's got modular, so it's a 3/3 for, 4 for the flyer, which is pretty good. I never ended up drawing this card. I think the one game that I drew it, I couldn't cast it, which was the Wormcoil Larva. I would have really liked to have cast this card. It's a 5-mana 3/3 Death Touch Lifelink. This really reminds me of Wormcoil Engine, although obviously just not as strong. When it dies, you get a 1/1 with Death Touch and a 2/1 with Lifelink. Solid card. I really wish that I saw it. This card was pretty solid, which was Skoa Ember Mage. What it ETB is, it deals 4 damage to any target, and it's also a 4/4. So getting to just deal it to face or getting to just kill a creature, which is really great. I didn't have another one, so the discarding it to deal 4 damage, it would have been cool if I had one. And the last card, which I don't think I ever drew, I apologize, was the Warped Tusker. It was my big body. Again, I never drew it. I wouldn't have ever cycled it because I didn't have the green. I guess with the Stump Stomp I could have done that, but I would have always cast the Stump Stomp instead of doing the removal spell. So let's talk about the rest of the pool. Okay, so it was funny. So Paul was like, I'm surprised you didn't play with this. And I'm like, I didn't play green. And I guess we'll kind of just start there because I didn't have green was kind of the situation that I had said, and I think running the white was fine. Like, again, my green wasn't bad. We have the foil white of the Reliquary, which this card makes me laugh. It's also a misprint. I don't know if you guys can actually tell, but it's bigger over here than it is over here on this side. Yeah, I mean, this is a cool card. I don't know. Like, it would have been nice to have in my pool, but I just don't think I had the green to really do it. We got 4 of these, Gift of the Viper. This is cool. It's a cool card. If I had played green, I probably would have played with 1 or 2 of them. It's 1 mana, a little combat trick, which is again fine, but just not anything worth it to run. We had 2 of the, it was just the lack of creatures in the green, which was really just making it hard for me. Malevolent Rumble, reveal 4 cards, put a permanent, and then you get a 0/1 spawn, which is cool. I probably would have jammed one of these if I had decided to play green. I got a collective resistance. There was actually way more artifact and enchantments being utilized in this set. Or you can make target creature gain hexproof for indestructible, which is really cool. Actually, this is a really cool combat trick card. Again, I think if I just had more green palms, but I just, like, these cards are good. It just, Next, we have the Primal Prayers, 2 energy. You may cast creature spells with mana value 3 or less by paying energy. This is kind of whatever. I don't think I would have played with that. The Horrific Assault. This is really cool. I definitely would have played with this if I did. Not even for the Eldrazi, but for dealing combat damage. Target creature you control deals damage to its power to planeswalker you don't control. Great little combat trick. I got the Path of Annihilation. I probably wouldn't played with that. Same thing for Branching Evolution. Another little combat trick, Signature Slam, and I also got, this was the one green solid mono green creature I had, which was Disciple of Freylease. This is a cool card. I think it's very CMC heavy, to be honest with you. It's also got the flip into the land, but I probably just wouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? You know what I realized? I guess I probably honestly should have started with my other colors and other things that I didn't play with, because that probably would have made more sense, and I decided not to do that. So let me do a little quick skirt on back to the black that I didn't play with. 2 of the Dross Claws, I saw these being utilized and they were actually not bad. Whenever they attack Succubus creature, each opponent loses 1. I think this is fine. I don't know. I just didn't seem good enough to me. I also opened up the, I don't know what the version of this, the variant is called, the Borderless maybe, of Crick. This card just was not good enough to me to run. Maybe I'm just very wrong in that opinion. I just think for me to pay, let's just say I didn't pay the life, because I feel like I was just going to beat down so much to pay the life. If I had paid 7 mana for a 2/2 lifelinker and I could pay black, to pay 2, and then it's black spells, I put possibles. Kind of it was good. I just don't think it was worth running. Let's talk about the rest of the red that I had gotten. I got 3 of the Glimpse the Impossible cards, which seemed fine. I think that this might have been something that I, hindsight, should have played with. It's not bad, gives you a little bit of card advantage. Probably should have put one of these in the Fledgling Dragons, as just an additional flyer and as an additional creature as well too. Possibly gets a little bigger if you have the Thresholds cards in your graveyard. I also got the Phyrexian Iron Works, which honestly I probably wouldn't have played with. I just don't think that card was good. I probably should have played with Party Thrasher, looking at it now, just to get a little bit of card advantage in there. So probably should have done that. Let's talk about the I also got this Coliseum land card, but I didn't play blue. I don't really actually have, these are all the white cards. The rest of the white cards, like I should say, 2 more of those Dog Umbras. The Witch Enchanter, which might have considered playing with, because like I said, there were more artifacts and enchantments that people were using that kind of surprised me. I don't often see that in Limited. This card I just didn't think was good, and I didn't have any things to synergize with it, so I didn't play with it. 2 of the Thraben Charms, which was a good little removal spell, and also just sort of enchantments that I didn't play with. One of the Expel the Unworthy. I mean, this was all like removal except for like the one other creature that I didn't play with. So again, just my pool was lacking in the creature department. And then we also have the Agent Dias card, which I could have played with to possibly remove things and but anyways. Okay, and then the blue, let's see, I got 4 Utter Insignificance, which this card's great. I had it used against, no, did I have this used against me? I don't think I actually had this used against me. This is a great card though. Makes it a 1/1, and then you could pay 3 to exile enchanting creature. If I played blue, I definitely would have played with this, but I didn't, so there you go. This is just counterspell. I probably wouldn't have played with this. I don't really love counterspells in Limited. I don't know, this one's a little too narrow too. 2 of these Unfathomable Truths. This was solid. If I played blue, I definitely would have played with this. I have the Deem Inferior, which is a little bounce thing. Again, if I played blue, but I didn't really have the creatures. One of the Deep Analysis cards. One of the blue creatures that I got, like again, like we're talking, like this is the blue. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then I'm going to show you another blue card. So out of 10 blue cards, 2 of them are creatures. So it's just like, this is what the situation was, Yeah, this I probably would have played with if I had played blue, solid. And then I did also open a Tamiya, which she's pretty expensive, which is cool. It's funny, I actually, in one of my opponents actually had this card, but didn't put it in the deck and was playing blue. And I was like, oh, I was surprised you didn't play with it. He's like, I just couldn't really get her, like, the flip side off, to, like, flip her over to her Planeswalker side. And I was like, I can totally understand why, you elected not to play with, but this card's like $25, so that's pretty cool. And then let's talk about the rest of the gold cards. Energy kind of buff card. I don't know. I just wouldn't really have played with that card, I don't think. I did get the Necro Bloom. Paul actually played with this card in his deck before realizing that he didn't have white, which I was like, that's one of the funniest things I think I've ever heard. It's a 2/7 landfall. Yeah, I would have gotten some 0/1s. Plants. If I controlled 7 or more lands with different names, that would just not have happened. I don't feel like I was utilizing and capitalizing off of this card, so I didn't play with it. I got this Gargoyle card, which seemed really cool. If I was playing with these colors, I would have definitely played with it. I got the Gargoyle, which I saw somebody use, and this card was actually pretty good. The Persist, having flying as long as it's modified, which is pretty easy to do. This Eldrazi Withering, I don't even know how to say that. Anyways, you get the spawns. It's got reach. When you sack another creature, you put counters on it. This was solid. If I was playing green, I would have played with this. I also got an Echoes of Eternity. This card might be expensive actually, so that's pretty cool that we opened it. I don't know if Paul needs this for his Eldrazi deck, but I feel like one of my friends will probably need this. So just I wasn't utilizing off of this. So anyways, yeah guys, that was the pool. That was just rough. I mean, really, just when I was looking at the stats of like the cards that I opened compared to like the amount of creatures, it was just pretty underwhelming. I don't really know, like, aside from a couple of tweaks, otherwise there's totally changing colors. I just feel like the creatures weren't really there. And I just feel like I built what I thought was the best at the time. Obviously there could have been adjustments made, but anyways, that's what it is, you know. But anyways, I really hope that you guys like this video. Please let me know if you want more of these videos once I do pre-release events, and hopefully next time I can talk about a much better pool and a much better deck, and it will be much better. So anyways, that's it for me for today. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll catch you on my next one.